Tonight's true scary story is about a possession, so you need to protect yourself before and after this video. It is crucial. Girl who emailed me, his name is Bailey, and she did say that I could tag her, so she will be tagged in the description. This happened back in 2019 in Elsinore, Utah, and I'm probably mispronouncing that even though I'm from Utah. Now, Bailey was invited by her friend Elena to go on a ghost hunting tour with Elena, her mom, and then Elena's friend Cheyenne. It was a 2-day ghost tour. The first night they would be at a museum for Native Americans. There were 4 stops along this ghost tour at the museum. There was also a cabin that they would be going in with a light grid on the wall. So a dark room with no windows with light dots all over the walls. So if anything walked in front of the lights, you would see the outline of the spirit. The next stop was a restaurant there, and they had flashlights and spirit boxes to communicate with those spirits. Light on signified yes, light off signified no. Then the next stop was a nature walk outside, and there was a friendly Indian chief spirit there. He would talk to anybody that was respectful to him, and he would also ask questions. Remember this specific spot for later in the story. The last stop was a child indoor playground, and you could hear the spirits running, laughing, and playing there. They were split into 4 different groups, and they would spend 45 minutes in one rotation. After they went to all these spots, they would meet back up and they would talk about what they heard, saw, found, experienced. This is when they would start talking about the Indian chief and what he had talked about with everybody. They asked each group to share, and her group was last, and every other group said that he was really nice and talkative. When her group was asked, they said that no one experienced this, that no one had experienced talking to him. So then the tour guides are confused and they say, well, was everybody respectful and did everyone believe in him? And they all said, yes, we were and we do. The people putting on the ghost tour seemed shocked about this because this had never happened before. So apparently the tour guides go back and they go and ask the Indian chief why he didn't speak to this particular group. And the Indian chief responds that there is a dark spirit in that group and that dark spirit is not welcome there. So to protect himself and everybody there, he didn't speak. The next night on the ghost tour, they found out that they were going to a real-life haunted house. Now, where the dark spirit plays into this is that there was a kid in their group, in her group, that lived in that house with his mom and his girlfriend, like lived in this real life haunted house, and he was actually in their group. There were 3 rooms in the house: the upstairs bedroom, the attic, and the living room. That was 1 floor, and then the main floor is where everybody slept. There were 2 bedrooms, a living room, bathrooms, a kitchen, then there was a basement. Now this was an old Catholic church-like building that was converted into a home. It had a very dark past of people being hung there and all kinds of things. You could even see where the noose was on the backyard on the tree. The noose was no longer tied, but the history aspect was still there. Now this is where it gets scary. They were split into 3 groups this time, and each group would start at a different level